What's happening this week in Warcraft? Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and catching me live wherever I'm streaming. The race to World First Soldier's on, and these are the current rankings, because if I were to say it now, it'd probably be inaccurate. A few hotfixes are happening over in Mythic Plus World, as it finally introduced itself just this past week. Necrotic Wake and City of Threads bosses have had a bit of their damage reduced, which is great, especially because last week was a tyrannical week, so this coming week these bosses ought to melt for players doing sub 10 keys. Let's go over some class tuning for this upcoming reset. Death Knight Riders of the Apocalypse will find their slow to be not as slow as it was before. Feral Druid AoE is going to have more consistent and reliable range, while Resto Druid healing is again being increased another 4%. Hunter Beast Mastery AoE is going up a bit. Fire Mage AoE is going up as well, while Frost single target is getting a bump too. Shadow Priest damage is going up by 4%, and if your favorite class or spec wasn't mentioned, you're right, Blizzard hates you. I'm just kidding. I've been getting this question a lot, so I'm going to go over the Great Vault, and we should be getting our second one this week. The Vault gives us stuff based on the activities we do, from raids to dungeons to now world content and delves, which is what we'll focus on. World activities like the Theater Troupe and Special Assignment World Quests count the same as completing a Tier 1 delve. If you happen to do nothing but world activities and Tier 1 delves, you can expect Veteran class gear to appear on the row, and you can make one choice. You don't need to fill this row out every week, but there is an incentive with having more options to choose from. Also, if no choice is available, you can opt to get some tokens to spend on other items off this vendor, like sockets for the head, the belt, and the wrist slots. To get higher item level choices in the vault, higher delves are your ticket, which is what you hear a lot of creators and guides talk about. In practice, you just want to do the best you can and you'll be rewarded for it. Very simple, but I'll explain it in greater detail. What you get in each box or section here is based on the lowest level activity you did. So for example, let's say you started the week and you completed a high level delve, it's a tier 7, and on the way you happen to complete the Spreading the Light event. It's, nice and easy. The Great Vault will credit you for filling out that first box for completing 2 activities, but the gear inside will be based on the world event. It'll only be veteran gear coming in the vault. To change that, you'll want to run another tier 7 delve, which will push the activity over to the next box. So cool, now you'll definitely get better gear from that first box or section. The rule of thumb is to push lesser rewards out by completing tougher activities. So another example, if out of 8 activities you completed, 7 of them were high-level delves, but 1 was the Spreading the Light event, okay, the first 2 boxes, those will produce good gear because you filled out that 2 requirement and the 4 requirement, but the last box with the 8 activity requirement, that's going to be dragged down by that 1 activity. You might be motivated to push this off with 1 more high-level delve. Like I said, it's easy to understand in practice after a few times. It sort of takes a bit to explain, but I hope that clears the air. And as a reminder, here on screen are the minimum requirements to obtain the different levels of delve gear. These runs don't have to be bountiful either. You can run your favorite one 8 times in one sitting if you really want to. So for vault gear, you want to run 4s to get champion level, 7s to get hero level the following week. You can run higher tiers to save on resources for upgrades, but if you're having trouble, I strongly suggest going a difficulty down. There's really no rush. Gear will always help, but so does practice and experience. A few hotfixes to cover. The Merildar Fishing Derby appears to no longer be a warband shared event and can now be run by multiple characters. The trade-off is the amount of prize currency given. That's been knocked down to just 3 marks, down from what I believe was 25. Just before the weekend, the WoW team announced that guild banks were fixed with no further risk of losing items, but also informed players that some items couldn't be recovered in the process. That's a nice way of saying it, but reportedly the items recovered are almost an insult compared to entire pages of guild banks being lost for good, from items no longer earnable in the game to extremely rare transmog and more. I can't judge people for what they decide to put in their banks, but that doesn't really matter. Gamers just shouldn't have to worry about any items being lost in a patch update, especially in a game that's this old and this established, and for those affected, this is one of those goodwill shattering, dude I quit, the worst case scenarios that obviously Blizzard does not want as the final outcome, but clearly their options have been exhausted. All I can do as a commentator is point this out and encourage others to both share their stories and to listen, and then to move on to the next item. North American players can expect a minimum 3-hour maintenance period on this reset, with realms expected to come up around 10 AM Pacific. When they're back up, the third and final wing of Raid Finder ought to be open. These last two bosses should drop not just Weathered Crest, but Carved Crest as well to upgrade your gear a little bit higher. The first boss drops a highly valuable item, a recipe for the magnificent jeweler setting. Expect this to be a hot item that'll quickly drop in value after this week. They also drop tier tokens for the head slot, a devastatingly powerful caster trinket, and also a good tanking trinket. The final boss drops a curio that can be used to trade for any tier piece, and if my normal clear from last week is of any indication, there's going to be a lot of curios that drop, making this super desirable for anyone seeking to complete their tier set bonuses. She also drops an interesting trinket that seems more useful to use on smaller trash like mobs for the sake of reducing the cooldown while offering a modest heal. These values are based on the target's health. On her very rare loot table is a formula for a powerful weapon enchant and a ring with an added damage proc. Finally, this big old badass mount drops from Raid Finder Difficulty 2, the Reigns of the Sureki Skyraiser. To follow up from last week, there seems to be a certain method to unlock Story Mode difficulty. Reports are a little bit sketchy, and I might be wrong too, but it appears that once you complete the first chapter of the endgame campaign, the quest giver Webster should appear just outside the Ajkahet portal when teleporting to the zone. If not, you may need to complete some side quests in the city proper. Once you've done this once though, Webster and this quest will appear for all characters. However, it does seem you need to complete this questline to unlock story mode for each character, and it's not a warband unlock. I have a feeling though that this will change for the sake of being consistent with what warbands are all about, and we just ought to speak up about it. Brewfest began late last week, and let's take a look at what's new. There's a new cosmetic called the Homebrewer's Sampling Mantle. It goes for 200 tokens, and it's actually a back transmog, not a shield like the orange Brewfest Bulwark is. There's also a new round of bar tab barrels scattered around Kazalgar for some easy tokens. Thanks to Wowhead comments for this one, and I'll provide a copy-paste version of this list to add to your TomTom or your map pin enhanced add-on to easily set up where you want to go. And like in previous years, you can jump into the Core and Dire Brew event for some basic gear and a chance at a mount. This week the Battleground bonus event is in play, and Temple of Hot Mogu is the brawl. Yay, my not favorite, where you pick up an orb and you pray your team buys you a few extra seconds of life. And over in Mythic Plus World, the first week of Xal'atath hotfixes was Ascendant, where players had to disrupt orbs before they got a cast off to get a haste buff, otherwise the enemy would get supercharged. Now what might be this week? We're going to figure out the pattern soon, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the affixes. Voidbound spawns an ad that needs to be killed immediately. It'll give a cooldown reduction and bonus crit once killed. Oblivion will spawn crystal-looking ads that'll move towards a target. Players need to run in and intercept them before they reach them, and they'll get a group buff for it. Finally, Devour will suddenly afflict players with a healing absorption debuff. It needs to be healed or dispelled before it expires to turn this into a crit buff for the team. So affixes don't immediately result in death, more like lost time, because not only did you not get the buff, the enemies do get a buff. It's only been a week, and as expected, reactions have been mixed as usual, as players are teaming up with others who may not have the same expectations or temperament that they do. The next few weeks ought to give us a better idea of the state of Mythic Plus World. Sometime this week I hope to have finished my basic guide for delves, and I hope folks give it a watch so we can help everyone succeed. And let's keep an eye out for more changes, fixes, and updates to the 11.0.5 PTR. Also, Season of Discovery 5 begins this week. I know that there's still quite a few fans out there eager for more. That's going to be it for now, and if you don't mind, like this video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Let's have Bob close us out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy. So I have no song to cover, I'll just tell you what to do. Start the week off right by picking up everything that's blue. Then you check the mail and get sad, check the table and get mad, 'cause there's no way a cutie's worth a tender box. That's freaking crazy. Then you do the things you care about, the pressure's all on you. Get to chest for gear and get to more for delves to do. Then you go around your warband, fly around the new land, then celebrate doing this for another 20 years. Until you're 90. Done.